Why don't you do the intro this week?
I was just about to do it, Rich.
Sounds good. Go for it.
Welcome to Drunk Tech Support. I'm Jay.
And I'm Rich.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Very synchronous. Hi, Rich. How are you?
I'm good. It's
Not that I've been talking to you for an hour now.
It's actually a really good day. I'm coming off of a week-long sickness, and I'm feeling much better. So I'm happy to be potting.
That's good. How many times have you been sick in the past year?
Well, like 2 or 3. One of them was COVID, so that laid me out. But
every time you get sick, I'm like, oh, this is it. I start preparing my eulogy.
Is it going to start with, my friend Rich was a jackass?
Rich was a great man. I knew him well.
Oh, my God.
No, there won't be a dry eye in the house, Rich, when I read your eulogy. I will have that picture I drew of you licking your iPhone going,
That comic. Oh, my God. And I like how you added the gray to my hair and show that I'm getting older. I appreciate that.
Yes, I updated your character.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what Andy really looks like, so he's just wearing a hat that says Andy.
Yeah. Well, he was on our show. You could have gone back to the episode and looked at it.
Was he? I thought he was audio only. I don't remember seeing him.
No, he was on.
What? What episode was that?
I don't know. Chatting with Andy is the name of the episode, so.
That is. Oh.
I'm sure you can find it pretty easily.
Must have been drunk.
That happens.
No memory of that.
But anyway, so I'm feeling better, which is
good.
Great because now I can actually pod and go back to work. I've been out of work for a week. And, yeah.
Excuse me, I gotta pour some more.
You're on the Jim Beam still.
I'm feeling.
Are you doing it because you
mentally.
like the whiskey, or are you doing it because you're still trying to do the keto thing?
Both. I've been like not keeping up with keto. It's it's upsetting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's like I get motivated to do something, and then I'm like super into it, and then it goes away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with like having someone to hold you accountable, and I don't think your brother's that person. No offense.
No. And you fell out the wagon like immediately.
I made it
I
a
can't
month.
put barbecue sauce on my chicken.
I made it a month and a half. Okay, I don't want to hear it.
Fuck you. You did nothing. You were like,
I did
we're having barbecue chicken, sugary barbecue chicken
with no barbecue sauce. It was a dry rub, you idiot.
It was a dry rub. This.
Oh my God. I did good. Okay, whether you want to believe it or not.
Don't believe you at all.
Whatever. Well, I'm drinking vodka because I'm not doing keto anymore, and
vodka. You should boycott vodka, man, because you know
Why?
Russia.
This is not made in Russia. This is Smirnoff. It's probably more American than you are. Made in America. It says it right on the bottle.
Oh, okay, fine.
Since 1864. So.
You know, like liquor stores are pulling Russian.
Oh, I'm sure.
Liquors off the
I
shelves.
mean, they got the ones that are truly good Russian vodka. But
I just read there's possibly going to be a nuclear war, so.
Oh yeah.
I've just started smoking again.
Fuck it, you're gonna die anyway, right?
Probably run out and buy toilet paper because that seems to be the first thing that.
This is true. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird because all this is going down, and you got me watching For All Mankind. And
that's super late.
The last episode I watched was the one where they shot the window of the moon base.
Oh, where they like invade?
And they ended the
base?
episode with them coming into the base, and I was like, oh fuck. So I'm like,
I know.
I'm super
You've been talking
on
about
edge.
that so much, I started watching it again.
It's a
I'm on,
great
like, season
show.
2
It
right
really is.
I told you.
I believed you.
It's it's really good. The later seasons, I'm like I feel like the technology moves a little too fast in the later seasons, but
You think?
it's still good.
Yeah. I'm having trouble
it's
like
only...
figuring out where we're at time wise. Like I think the second season started in '91, but like they don't really give you an update as to where you're at throughout the season.
Yeah, well, I had the same problem because I was like, oh yeah, that took place in like the 90s or something. You're like, no, it's like 1987 or something. I'm like, well, it's pretty much the 90s. They don't
Yeah.
like. You assume that each season's like a decade of time, but it's really not.
Well, I mean, honestly, I look at the start of the '90s as the fall of the Soviet Union because that's what happened in our timeline. But the Soviet Union did not fall in this one, so
No.
yeah. So anyway, that's
Such a
kind
good fucking show.
It is a great show, but it's not something I should be watching, during the whole Russia-Ukraine thing because it's definitely putting me on edge.
I just watched the episode. It sucks about the show. I can't remember anyone's names.
Yeah.
The main
Ed,
dude.
the main dude.
Is it Ed Baldwin?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not know he was Ed Baldwin.
Yeah.
So that now I'm gonna remember his name. Okay.
Fantastic.
Where he had like captured one of the Russians. He like makes him suffocate.
Yes. But
And
then
then
he actually let him live.
Yeah.
It was like,
And then that comes back.
yeah.
Spoiler.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, we probably should have said that first.
God, this fucking show. It's like a roller coaster.
It's a
I
great
usually
show.
don't like. I like science fiction shows, but then I like hate the drama parts. But the
Yeah.
show I'm actually like into both. Like the whole Ed Baldwin's son
Yeah.
and stuff while he's on the moon, and like nobody's like telling him. And then the Russians fucking tell him.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I was pretty mad about that. I was like, really? Really? So I just
It's a good
realized when I reauthorized our Twitter, I accidentally used my personal account. So
Ugh.
it was tweeting, it was playing on Twitter on my account. So, anyways, I fixed that.
Oh, good.
So anyway, we got some topics to talk about tonight.
Yay! I can't wait to get into topics.
Well, do you want to talk about games first? Because I know how much you love gaming.
Rich, you've been playing Deathloop.
I have. And
You got like a review for us?
It's so fucking frustrating. It's like
It is.
It's like
oh my God, it is.
the worst. Like it's like Mario Lost Levels, like the hardest
Oh, God,
possible
yeah.
game, and you have to keep redoing that first goddamn level over and over again when you die.
Yes.
Ugh.
I keep having to redo the first level where you have to get a class pass.
Yes.
Because you have to go in, and it
Yeah.
takes away all your shit. So as soon as you get killed, like you loop.
Yeah.
You have to start from the beginning again.
Yeah.
I
That's the
fucking hate
worst.
that. There is actually a trick to sneak into that base
Really?
without getting class pass. Yeah, I'll have to show you later.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's like I just want to do this one thing, and then fucking Julia enters the level, and I'm like,
yeah, she came in. Was it last night? Yeah, I think it was last night when I was playing. It was the first time she'd been in there, and I'm like, ooh. I got excited,
Ooh.
and
yeah,
then I hit her once, and then I never ran into her again. And I was like, okay, well that was
oh, she starts
anticlimactic,
popping up a lot.
but whatever.
We have to let me know when you play, because I can like go into your game as Julia and like try
Yeah.
to stop you. I'm sure you want that.
Yeah.
What you should do is get the laser gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. The chick that has like multiple copies of herself
Yeah.
at the same time. Her lab there's a way to get a prototype laser weapon.
Really?
Which-
I'm on
holy
my way
crap.
to the lab right now, so I haven't made it there yet.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
once
there's
I get there,
I had to look it up. Because I couldn't figure it out. But there's a special thing you can do, and you get this laser weapon. Lasers.
lasers.
And then you get. It's so much. Like Julia shows up, it's like, pow, she's dead.
Nice.
It's like all you have to do is make sure you're aiming at her, and
That's cool.
and she's done. Yeah, it's actually made the Julia. Unless people are just really bad.
Yeah.
I hate people that come in as Julia and they'll set proximity mines
Oh wow.
either around the main door to escape the level, or like all around the antenna you have to disable.
Nice. I have a habit
Oh my God.
of taking the I can't even think of the name of them now. The little gun things, turrets.
Oh, the turrets,
Yeah.
dude. I
And
live by the turrets.
taking them with me and then putting them down and like strategically so that
Yes,
if anybody
exactly.
tries to sneak
Yep.
up on me,
I do
yeah.
the same thing.
So cool.
It's
yeah.
so nice. You're like you're in some other part of the map, and all of a sudden you hear like Juliana's dead. I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
No,
the,
it's
Visionary
great.
or
I do
something.
like the game. It's actually really, really fun.
it's a pretty
It's
unique
just
game.
very frustrating because of the whole relooping thing, but
Exactly.
waking up on the beach 1,000 times in a row.
And that's that makes the game fun because there's like stakes.
yeah. Oh yeah,
Not
yeah.
Just
No doubt.
mindlessly playing. Like,
I'm
oh,
still
if I
playing
die,
it.
I'll
I'm not
just-
saying it's a bad thing. I'm still
No,
playing.
right.
It's just that's the frustrating part. That's
I'm still waiting for Modern Warfare 2 to come out, which doesn't come out till like the middle of the month. So I paid for the early access
yeah.
beta so I could play one multiplayer game, and then I went to log in the next day and it's like, oh, the beta's ended. Sorry,
Yeah.
you gotta wait. till the middle
I
of the month. Like,
literally I had like 6 hours I got to play it. By the time
Well,
I
didn't
got
even
it
get
and
an hour.
downloaded it, it was like, and then my son wanted to play, but he had homework, and he was like, "It turns off at midnight," and I was like, "I want to play it."
I didn't know it was gonna turn.
Like he
off.
wanted
I
to
was
play
so
it with
pissed.
me too, which made it even worse. Like I felt bad. Like I'm like, your homework comes first, man. Like I can't.
Wah, wah.
It sucks, but we'll play it when it comes out.
Yeah, it'll be out.
So.
I'm interested to see if it reflects Modern Warfare 2, the actual original game, in any way whatsoever, because so far it is not.
Yeah. Hey, we got a viewer on Twitch apparently, which means it must be working. Even though for me
Or
it
it's
says
like-
offline. I don't know. I don't understand the issue with Twitch and Twitter, but whatever.
I don't understand streaming to Twitter at all. I didn't even know that you could do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they basically just took what was it, Periscope, and turned it into their platform. You know.
Dude, remember Periscope?
I do. I remember you used it all the time on the show.
We did an
actually.
episode.
Yeah.
We did an episode. I have a song named after it because I made a song live on
Yes.
Periscope.
I meant to tell you. Speaking of your songs, I finally figured out what was wrong with my music library, and I was able to categorize your fucking latest album properly, so that it showed up properly.
Are my ID3 tags not
No, they're not.
set properly?
No,
Is that I might have forgotten to do that.
you may have, but I'm used to it because I always get like the early access. You know. So-
Yeah, you got EA early access, Rich.
Yeah. EA early access.
Pay up.
But anyways, it was it's been really cool. Like I've actually listened to probably the first half of it, and I got to finish it now. But now I can get it on my
good.
phone and my Apple TV and everywhere because it's on my library properly.
You realize you're my only reviewer, so I don't know,
I know.
how well my albums work. Like the last one I did, you like were pretty impressed, so that made me like feel really good.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, here's my new one, and then I haven't heard anything in like months.
Sorry.
So I'm like, it must suck.
A lot of it just has to do with me taking the time to sit down and do things on my computer, which I don't do like I used to do when I was younger. I have to like make time for the computer, and it's frustrating because I mean it used to be that was what I did all day, every day, you know.
Yeah.
Now I've got like
yeah,
kids
same
and
here.
responsibilities, and
I don't have that, and I still don't do shit. I just like
we have a job.
I was telling you earlier. Like I have like this binge watching disorder.
Yeah.
Like I like Imgur, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Netflix, 24/7 podcasts. It's just
Yeah.
constantly something is going and is drawing my attention away from like doing something. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I've already seen this a million times, but I'm gonna sit here and watch it instead
Why
of
not?
going and doing something creative or like, you know, learning a new skill or something. Like,
Right.
It
Yeah, I get it. It's definitely it's hard to make time, and it seems like it's harder as you get older. So I don't know, but I made time finally, and I listened, and I'll give you a full
Overwatch 2
review.
drops. Wait, hold on a second. Not Overwatch. Deathloop. I just saw Deathloop. Arcane finally confirms yes, Deathloop is set in the Dishonored universe. I don't think I've played any of the Dishonored
Me either.
games, and I don't know what actually links the two, but
Me either.
we're just talking about Deathloop, and I just saw that randomly. So,
Very cool.
I had played that on. I played Deathloop on PC when it first came, like before it came out. I was
Really?
reading about it. I was like, I want this game. I want this game. Yeah, back when I had that gaming laptop.
Yeah, I mean it's
And then,
it's definitely one of the best games I've played in a while. Like
Yeah, I don't
mean,
even think it's won any awards or anything.
I just went back and beat San Andreas last week, and I'm like,
I don't understand
running out of
how you
things
can
to
beat,
play.
You can beat GTA games. Are you saying 100% completion, all side quests and everything?
not all the side quests. I did
Just the main story.
storyline.
Yeah, I've not beat the main story.
I've
in
done
any
San
GTA.
Andreas 4 and 5 in the last month and a half. So now I need
Mm.
to. I tried to go back to do 3, but the graphics are
Did you say
so
San Andreas 4
terrible.
and 5?
Yeah.
That What do you mean 4 and 5? You mean
4?
GTA 4?
Yeah.
And then,
GTA 5.
but you called them both San Andreas.
No, San Andreas was the first one I beat.
Oh,
There's 3
San
games.
Andreas, comma 4,
comma 4,
comma,
comma
and 5. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
There you
like,
go.
they didn't make several San Andreas. Okay, fine.
No, they should have though, because that was my favorite one.
I
That-
love that for 5 they brought back a lot of the voice actors.
Yeah.
For
I wish, like, and I know they probably won't because I never get my way, and game developers don't care about what us peons want. But I really hope 6 has like one feature that I would love, and that's the ability to add a new storyline. Like, great, they gave us GTA 5 and then I beat it, and then they were like, oh, GTA Online is here, and I played it, and it's just assholes killing you every 5 seconds, and you have to play in
that's like
passive
the free,
mode.
that's like the PvP free for all.
I know, but
you mean like they add chapters?
I think they should add like
the-
like new
Yeah.
storylines, like entirely new storylines.
From the characters you've played, or like new characters.
Or new characters even, but same
Yeah.
engine. You know, you don't have to release a new game every year. Just a new
It doesn't
storyline.
matter because so many kids play the online.
I know.
God, I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2.
Like I said, they don't
and,
care
like,
about what we want.
No, they don't. They just keep pushing you into the online. I finally like sucked it up and created an online character for Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
Have you played that?
No.
That you might want to check that out. That is
Yeah?
worth playing. Yeah, if you like GTA, that's Rockstar. They made that. It's like GTA in the Old West
Nice. I'll have to check
with
it
a
out.
lot of like survival elements added. And it's got a really good story. Like I really love the story. Brought a tear to me eye when Arthur
This is a
did his
spoiler alert.
thing. Did his thing at the end.
So you're
I'll
just gonna
only
say
say
it like that? Yeah. Okay. That works.
Okay. Then I'm actually playing that right now. So I somehow got thrown into online because when you launch a game, it used to be like, would you like to play online or story? Now it just
Right.
goes directly
To
into
online, and you have to
back
change
out.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. GTA,
Bullshit.
Halo, Modern Warfare are like the biggest culprits of this. Pushing online because those kids, those micro transactions, you know.
Yep. Yeah, this is kind of similar. Well, it's related to a topic I wanted to talk about tonight. I watched a YouTube video that I was going to share with you, and then I was like, no, let me talk about it on the show, and then I'll share it with him. But this guy, the term he used was the Game Pass diet. And
Yeah,
it
that was a weird term.
So it's not a diet that will be on. It's the diet that the game developers need to be on to be successful in the new Game Pass world. So prior to things like Game Pass, where you know they've Netflixified gaming, you would
And
have to
you
buy
know,
a game.
Xbox is late to that game because
Oh, I know.
Like, Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
So, anyways, the games had to be purchased, and they were, they always were $60 or around there for
Always full
years,
price.
for years, and then, but to make us happy or at least placate us, the game developers would put all these extra features, and then they do like DLP and like or DLC, I mean DLC, and like just they just throw all these extra features and like all this bloatware, and all I wanted was the good game to play, And that's what
The base
I think
game?
most people want, is a good game to play.
Yeah.
I don't need all the extra bells and whistles.
A good game, a great game that has an awesome story that isn't
Pay to win.
driven online.
Yes.
That isn't pandering to online. And I'm talking about like the You hear that?
I heard that. Damn, that's loud.
Somebody's shitty Civic. I'm talking about like Fallout. Like,
Yes. There were so many good games over the years. I mean,
GTA back in the day.
yeah, GTA's. You had Half-Life, Half-Life 2, Portal.
Oh, you want to go
Portal
way
2.
back? Yeah.
I mean,
Halo.
these were some of the greatest games ever, but they're nowadays it's like, you're right. They're all going online.
You want to hear the analogy? I saw this funny. It was a meme. It was an analogy, and it's like. So it's like you're getting you're at McDonald's. You're getting like a number one or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, old games, you get everything. You get the burger, the fries, the soda.
Yeah.
And nowadays it's
you order the
bun.
entree and you don't get fries. You have to get that separately.
You get the bun,
Yeah.
and then the lettuce and the tomato and the meat are separate, and the fries are separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a model. I don't know. That was like an earlier model. Like now, I don't know how to call the model now because it's all online and microtransactions. Back maybe 10 years ago, it was about the DLCs.
Right, and that was just because there
It was a
wasn't
base game, and if you didn't pay for the season pass or pay for each DLC that came out, you couldn't play. You couldn't play with your friends.
Right.
Well, I don't have that map. I don't have that DLC, so I can't play with you guys.
Right.
Sorry. And if you try to actually just go into multiplayer with the base game, you would never match because
there's nobody playing those.
Right.
Yeah. So basically, what this guy did is he looked at the analytics for Game Pass, and specifically just for Game Pass. He didn't look at any of the PlayStation or anything. This was just Xbox, and Game Pass games. The most popular games are like the casual gamer games,
single player,
Among Us, and not necessarily single player, but like casual gamer games, because you get into them very quickly. You don't have to go through all the load screens and
unless you're trying to join
bullshit
with your friend Rich.
Right. We seem to have an issue hooking up online, but and once you're in the game, it's fun, it's entertaining. You may lose interest before you would with a longer, more polished game, but you're playing it more often. Fun. Like I have a bunch of those. There's one that I play. It's a space game. It kind of reminds me of No Man's Sky, but not as big. It's a casual game. It's not made for.
FTL was pretty casual.
Yeah. FTL is a good example. This one's like Astroneers or something like that.
Astroneers. Yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about.
Gang Beasts. Gang Beasts is another one.
Gang Beasts?
Yeah, that one's really fun, actually. I play with the kids a lot. But so all these casual games are kicking ass on these platforms because they're super easy to use. They're fun, and
they're not mainstream.
They're not, and they're not big names. They're not. It's not like Mario or
It's not a AAA title,
right? And but then these AAA titles are not popular for basically the same reason that they were popular back in the day. They have too much crap. There's, GTA San Andreas, great example. I was playing it all week, and every time my thing didn't do quick resume, and because I closed it or whatever happened.
Oh yeah, the quick resume.
I would have to go through all the load screens again, and it takes fucking forever just to get into a game. And that is the issue. That's why, at least that's this guy's theory, that these games are not as popular on Game Pass. Because obviously, $25 a month.
Load faster. You're playing San Andreas on an Xbox One.
Well, it's remastered for the Xbox One or the Series X or something.
Yeah, but still, I mean,
the graphics are definitely better than they were, but storyline's exactly the same. Physics are exactly the same. They didn't change any of that, and they didn't even really change the graphics. They used an AI to generate the new graphics, so they didn't do it manually, which was crazy to think of. But so anyway, that's kind of where these game developers need to learn from this new model. This is where things are going. The infrastructure's there. Xbox is doing it. PlayStation's doing it. We got the Steam Deck. We've got all these online systems.
I pre-ordered a Steam Deck, and I've yet to get the okay.
I actually had a article that I looked at today that I was going to tell you about, where the Steam Deck is actually finally available for like the general public, and the docking station was released as well, which apparently people have been using third-party ones that aren't supported as well.
Yeah, it's just USB-C.
Well, they added more. They added something to the firmware to fix the issues with third-party docks, and they released their own dock.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Instead of
it's like a company actually caring
we don't
about.
Want anyone to use third-party docks.
Exactly, it's a company actually caring about their customers. Imagine that.
Because Steam is about access to the game.
Right.
It's not about.
But I feel like Steam is really where it all started. Where we got to Game Pass because of Steam, and Steam got really popular, and then you had
Steam
Origin.
Doesn't have any kind of Game Pass.
No, but it was a platform for gaming. It wasn't
Steam sales. You want to talk about Steam sales? Holy shit! I have so many games because of Steam sales.
Exactly.
Some I don't even play because.
So you take that and then add a subscription model to it, and there you go. You have Game Pass. And
I have issue with Game Pass. But
so
first,
my question is, do you think these big developers are going to get their shit together and realize that they're not going to be able to make the games the way they've always made them?
No, because the big AAA companies are going to be like, we're only focused on multiplayer and skins and microtransactions. But then
nobody's going to play their games.
I don't know, man. They're doing pretty good
so far. We're still in like the first few years of Game Pass. Like, it really didn't. When it launched, it only had 100 titles. Now it's got way more.
Yeah,
there's more people joining all the time. It's kind of like Netflix. When Netflix started, there was like nothing.
Hope developers are like, we need to focus on like novelty and playability.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I want a whole Game Pass full of casual games either. I still want the AAA titles, but I don't want to have to wait 10 minutes to load a game. And I want a good storyline, and I want to have an engaging, fun experience. I don't think that's too much to ask.
The game that takes the longest is Red Dead 2.
Really?
Only because Rockstar games are usually like that big. They're big, scrolling, open world.
Well, yeah.
Games. I just wanted to go through I'm going through my library here. I just wanted to see what casual games I have in my library. I got Among Us.
Yes, which I do too.
Wait, are these my games? These aren't my games.
Are you looking at just the Game Pass or the games you own?
Yeah, I was trying to like go to my
I have
library.
3 different apps for the Xbox on my fucking phone. That's another thing Microsoft can't get together. They have the Xbox Family app, which I use to control my kids' gaming times. And then they have the Xbox Game Pass, where I can go in and look at the games that are available and add them to my library. Mm-hmm. And then they have the Xbox app that actually connects to my console and allows me to...
Yeah. That's all I have is the Xbox app.
Yeah.
Okay, for casual games, why does Candy Crush... Oh, it must be including my, any games I purchased through Microsoft.
Yes, because it's all one now.
Okay, let's see. Casual games. Oh, Feeding Frenzy,
Ooh.
which I haven't played. Geometry Wars,
Yeah.
which I
figured you
freaking
would
love.
have that.
That is not a multiplayer. They do like online top scoring, so you can like compete,
Yeah.
but there's no like multiplayer. Hydro Thunder, Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time. I have not played that. Didn't you?
I don't think so. Doesn't sound
Could have
familiar.
sworn you did. Lumines or Lumines, which is like a Tetris kind of wannabe game.
Yeah.
Is Minecraft a casual game?
I would consider it. Yeah, I would consider it casual.
I would
mean,
casually play that.
Yeah, it's something you can just jump in
And Uno. I have no idea why Uno's on my list. I've never played Uno. Oh, Microsoft Jigsaw. What the hell?
What?
Why is it Mahjong on here? I play the shit out of Mahjong on Windows 7. That's weird.
Yeah.
But a lot of my games are very in-depth story-based
Yeah.
games.
Which I like.
Like-
and I'm willing I'm willing to wait for a load screen. I'm not saying I'm not. I'm just saying the average person is not. So they have to find a way around this.
Rich is willing to wait for that load, guys.
Yep. I like waiting for the load. Yes.
The Steam Deck. So, I must have signed up for a pre-order of the Steam Deck. I don't know,
About a year
and
ago.
half
Yeah.
over a year ago, and it's now to the point I'm seeing used Steam Decks on like yard sale sites like Facebook and Craigslist and stuff, and I'm like, where the hell's my Steam Deck, guys? Because I'm
Right.
seeing them for a lower price than what I originally signed up for.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, hopefully you'll hear something soon because now they're
And that's
saying
back
they're
when I
available.
had a gaming PC. I don't even know how well the Steam Deck handles games on its own without
supposedly
having.
pretty good.
But isn't there only like a limited amount of games that work with the Steam Deck if you're not streaming directly from your?
Yeah, well, that's like it's very similar to playing on my Mac. There's certain games that I can't play because they won't stream even like. So it depends
Yeah.
on the developer, I'm sure. There's something.
And
they
I mean,
have to do.
streaming over the network's great. Like,
Oh yeah,
even if you had what's the Steam? Don't they have like a Steam Stream?
Yeah.
Steam.
that's how
What
I
is it
play on my Mac. Is I stream from my PC.
No. I know they have like a standalone, like gaming device.
Oh, yeah. Didn't they have a box or something they released?
Yeah, I forgot what it's called.
I don't remember. Let me look.
Um,
Wasn't
coming
like the
out, I
Steam
just
box
saw
or something?
I just saw an article about
Steam Machine.
Yep. Wait,
Yeah.
what? Stream Machine?
Yeah, Steam Machine,
That-
not Stream. Steam.
Steam Machine. That doesn't sound right, but I'll go with it.
That's what's on
Um,
SteamPowered.com.
Dead Space is coming out through EA, so
Yeah,
I'm
so it's
I'm
shitty.
extremely wary.
And you're not gonna pre-order it, right?
Hell no, I'm not gonna pre-order it. I'm not gonna order it. I'm gonna be like you buying consoles. I'm gonna wait years
Years.
until it's on sale. They're remastering Dead Space,
Okay.
which is an awesome game series.
I actually never played it.
EA ruined it.
Of course.
You know how. I don't even have to say how they ruined it.
Of course.
Dead Space 1 was brilliant. Dead Space 2 was pretty good successor. Dead Space 3 was a microtransaction nightmare of bullshit.
Yeah. That's so
Um,
bad.
And I don't. Did I bring this up in a previous episode? So
I don't think
Dead
you
Space
talked
1
specifically about Dead Space, but
not only they're basically rebuilding the game from scratch, so it'll play exactly the same with like it's just gonna be awesome graphics and lighting and all that fun stuff. It'll probably have ray tracing and all that fun stuff. Ray tracing, I gotta talk about ray tracing because Deathloop has ray tracing ability
yeah.
if you want to play at 30 frames a second. Which who wants to do that?
Did I talk about the 30 frames per second glitch that was in GTA on the show at all?
No.
So there was a glitch.
Let me finish Dead Space real quick.
All right.
Alright, so Dead Space apparently the gimmick or what they're doing with it is there's no cutscenes, there's no load screens. The entire game from start to finish is one camera cut. So there's no cuts.
Weird.
Which is interesting because
Yeah.
that game is all about immersion. There's no heads up display.
I did talk about
Like-
it. Episode 151. Sorry.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
Or you talked about your thing.
My thing, not Dead Space.
Oh, okay.
My
Okay,
thing.
so yeah, so if anyone who plays Dead Space knows that like the only real way to like track your health and whether you're like full of juice for your
Full of shit.
stasis shit is like the rig you wear and
Okay.
and down like your health is actually like this bar that goes up your spine and you can like keep track of so the game is in third person too, which sort of like adds to the creepiness because you can't always see
Yeah.
all around and stuff. It's a really good game. It's a
Huh.
really think The Thing. It's definitely inspired by The Thing. Rich,
Interesting.
I know you have not seen The Thing.
I have not, but I know of
Suck.
it.
All right. So so the fact that they're getting rid of camera cuts and crap, that's gonna add to it. But
Yeah.
I'm also waiting to hear what bullshit you want to play. You want to play Dead Space, but you want to play as a clown, or like or your favorite Fortnite character or some shit. I'm waiting for that. You know.
Yeah, you got a microtransaction for those skins. That's important.
Yeah, I'm not.
You got to have that.
Based on EA's history, I'm not looking forward to anything that they do.
Yeah, I'm with you, 100%. I've even when I see their name now, I'm like immediately skeptical. Like, well, all right, what are they doing now?
Yeah, how are they trying to nickel and dime me? Or
Yeah.
or kids, because I'll never spend the money on it.
Yeah,
How are they trying to appeal to like kids with mommy and daddy's wallet?
right. Well, I
Basically.
mean, and there, not every parent is as tech savvy as I am. My kids can't buy shit without my permission, and it sends me an alert. If they do it on the Microsoft Store, I get it on the Xbox app. If they do it on their phone or an iPad or a Mac, I get it on my Screen Time app.
Yeah,
And
but
the
you
parental
still
controls.
are like, well, you got to do some work if you want to get some money from me to
Yeah,
invest in
yeah.
this. So it still happens. It still
It still
happens.
does
They
happen.
get their money.
They do get it sometimes, but sometimes I'm like, no, that's stupid. You don't need to waste your money on that. So it's
You're doing God's work, Rich.
for 3 kids.
Yes.
There's millions of kids out there.
I know, but you're doing your part.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing my part.
Gee golly.
So yeah, EA is not. I don't think I'll ever be favorable.
Yeah, I
Of
don't.
EA.
I don't think so either.
We've heard from their bigwigs, their hotshots, that they, like the guy that said, any game developer that's not focusing on microtransaction is an idiot. There's literally a quote from like an ex CEO,
Yeah.
or an ex like bigwig.
Somebody
from them.
in the C level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
That's why I like playing old games. I like speaking of EA, I like going back and playing like old Command and Conquer games.
Yeah. And I do too. I enjoy the old games. I don't. I mean, there's still a lot of
For
games
that
I have
simple
not
fact,
played that I
good
have to go
game-
back and play. But there's
Yeah.
a lot that I
Well,
have.
back then, they had to make a game that was good and replayable.
Right.
Not a game that was shit, but a bunch of kids bought a bunch of skins, so they
Right.
made their money back. Or they did early access and made all their money up front, so fuck what the game plays
Right.
like.
So
we don't
I mean,
care.
it's basically the early days of the Game Pass diet. Like they have to trim down the games for them to be popular.
So, okay, so speaking of like Game Pass, me and Andy talked about this about Game Pass is good, but the majority of the times they don't include the DLC.
Right.
So you can play the base game, which is all good, but you still have to like I don't know if you could. I don't think you could buy the DLC without buying the main game. Like
Not unless you go out and
Fallout.
buy the game.
Yeah, take Fallout 4 for instance. I was like, oh cool, it's on Game Pass, sweet. But I've been playing Fallout 4 for fucking
Years.
6 years.
Yeah.
It's been out forever, and I've yet to beat it because I don't beat games. I always get bored and give up.
That's really weird to me. Like I'm blown away that you're surprised that I actually play games all the way through.
I do. I'm not a completionist, Rich. I don't.
I'm not 100% completionist, but I am.
I have completed games. Like
Yeah.
I've played games to the end, but a lot I haven't. A lot of the big games I have not. So yeah, I guess that's surprising. But I don't like the fact Game Pass to me is more like a try before you buy. And the fact that they take things off. They take things off Game Pass.
Yeah.
Because I've had games I was playing and they're like, oh, this is going away next month.
Yeah.
So I've had
there's
to
a
buy
whole
it.
category of games on there that you can look at that are games that are leaving soon, which is
Yeah.
exactly what Netflix does.
And I've bought games because they're like, well, that's going away. And I was like, well, damn it, I want that in my collection. So I turn around and buy it. So it's great. It's great for them because they're making money.
Yeah,
But
and that's
the non-inclusion of DLC, I think.
What happened with me with GTA, I already owned GTA San Andreas 4 and 5 that I bought for the 360.
Did you have the trilogy remaster pack?
Well, and I bought the trilogy remastered. Yes. So I had all three of those original for the 360 and the trilogy that I bought for the Series X. And I hadn't put them in my Xbox at all until like a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
And up until now, I've been playing them on Game Pass. And then they started taking them off of Game Pass, and I was like, "Well, what the hell?" And then I was like, "Oh wait, I have the game."
But there's no DLC for them.
Well, if you have the actual game, you can probably get the DLC.
No, for GTA, there's no DLC.
No. I'm just saying in general, games.
That's why I'm like Deathloop. There's no DLC as far as I know.
Not yet.
You get the base game. That's why I was like, "That's so awesome! It's coming to Game Pass because I can just play it. I don't have to worry about all that crap." But I guess that's probably part of their like business model. It's like, we'll release this brand new game for free. I bet you it's not going to stay long. I bet down the road we're going to hear it's going away.
And then at that point, I'll buy it if I'm still into it. But the average gamer probably won't, and that's probably where
Game Pass to me is a try before you buy. I do like that they have the old OG Xbox and 360.
Yes, and I love that I can just take an old game and put it in. I have all my old games still, and I'm like, I can just grab it and put it in, and I'm playing.
Yeah.
Well, that's not fair. I can't just say put it in and play because I have to put it in, and then it downloads the digital copy anyways, and then I can take the disc out. I only have to put the disc in occasionally when it needs to check to see if I have an actual copy.
Dude, I look. That's one of the things. I'm such a digital purchaser now that the fact that I have to get up, walk across my living room, find
it's so funny because not 2 years ago you were complaining about digital copies.
I hate digital. Like, I do, and it's like it's a duality. I'm like, I fucking hate digital because at least they're gonna go away someday.
At least with Xbox, they carry over your games. Like at least up till now they have. Because I bought a Slender Man game on my 360, and it was there when I plugged in my Xbox Series X for the first time. It was already in my account, so. It's
whatever accounts I was using for my OG Xbox account got banned because I was using a modded Xbox online.
I remember.
And then my 360 account, I don't know what happened to it. I couldn't figure out what it was because it had been so long. Because I went from the 360 to just PC, and I was like, "Fuck it, I don't need." I
pretty much did the same thing. My daughter actually took the 360 into her room, and I stopped playing it entirely.
Yeah. So when I got the Xbox One, I was like, I don't know what my Xbox Live account is, so I just used my Microsoft account. So all those games I had purchased in the past are gone. Which is fine because I
don't think it's fine. I mean, yeah, they can ban you from the online service, but you still bought games.
No, yeah,
you still should be reimbursed for those.
I didn't get banned from 360, so they didn't have digital purchases back in the OG Xbox.
True.
So I wasn't worried about that, but I did make quite a few purchases on the 360, and I couldn't remember. I think it came down to it was under Kai's email, so I don't have that information. So
Of course.
I just assumed that's where that went. So I'm like, fine, I'll repurchase some of my old games.
Yeah.
Some of them were on Game Pass, which is cool. But where we're gonna be 10 years from now is.
That's a good question. Like, are we going to be able to even buy AAA games in 10 years? Like, will everything have... I could see developers that are tried and true to that AAA model, and they don't want to change it.
Mm-hmm.
They will just go out of business or not make any money because nobody's going to buy them anymore because they all want casual games on Game Pass. And then we're going to have these super overpowered Xboxes that are doing things we could do on our fucking iPhones.
Can we talk about the Xbox? This is yet turning into another game episode.
It is. And this is actually the last of my gaming topics, but... No, actually, there's one more, but sort of.
So we both have the Xbox One Series X.
Right.
It is top of the line. Am I right?
It is.
Okay. So, Deathloop, you can actually go into your options and change your visual settings, which is I've not seen that in a console game before. That's usually a PC thing,
right?
Because you always have to throttle.
I did that on GTA actually yesterday. I went in and adjusted the.
Oh, you did that in GTA?
Yeah.
Which one? San
Andreas.
Really?
It must have been a thing they did in the remaster.
I didn't know that. So Deathloop, it's by default it's set to visual quality, so it's basically balanced.
Right.
You get the best. I think it's like 120 frames or at least 60 frames a second. Which I used to not care about frames. Any games I used to play with 30 frames a second, and then all the Call of Duty titles were like, we're at 60 frames a second. Yeah. I was like,
well, it
that
matters.
Looks weird. That makes me nauseous. I don't like it.
Yeah. I had that problem too, but it's almost a necessity for
I'm so used
shooters.
to 60 frames a second.
Yeah.
You go back to 30 frames a second, even though movies are still played at 30 frames a second, it affects the gameplay. So Deathloop has this option to turn on ray tracing, which looks beautiful. Everyone who knows what ray tracing is, it adds, I don't know, like light scattering. It's like if this light source were real, this is how the light would scatter across the game. And
the computer does it, so they don't have to manually do these things. Yeah.
If you turn that on, it drops it to 30 frames a second. And I'm not even sure if it's really 30 frames a second. It feels like less.
Maybe it's a programming limitation. Maybe it's something they just couldn't do.
But I'm like, did they turn that on for like future Xboxes? I'm like, shouldn't this Xbox be able to handle this at this point?
It should. Or maybe they're just trying to make sure it works on all of them without making multiple copies. Because they still have to support the Series S, which is digital only.
You should try it, and then next episode tell me if it affects your gameplay. What?
Where do you want me to try it?
On your Xbox.
My Series X.
You're playing Deathloop on your Xbox, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, go into options and change the visual
and see
settings
if it changes it to 30.
To ray tracing, and then tell me how the game plays. If you notice a difference, or if I'm just crazy.
Okay. It could also be related to the TV. Maybe the TV's not capable of putting out whatever they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I have a, $400 50-inch television that I bought.
Yeah, I'm actually having issues with my TV, and I'm in the market for a new one. It's gotten to a point where, you know how HDMI devices nowadays, when you activate one, it'll switch the input automatically for you.
Yeah.
Well, it started not doing that, and I've had to unplug devices and plug them back in to get them working. And, not the power, just the HDMI. I unplug it, plug it back in, and it starts up, no problem.
Do you have like one of those fancy one that does like HDR and all that stuff?
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think something's going out on the TV. 'Cause
HDR
this
is
is just
another great feature
this is
of
just
like
the
modern
second
games.
issue I've had with this TV recently because I have a sound bar that I used to control the volume on my Apple TV remote with.
Well, that's the problem. You're using Apple products, Rich.
That is not the problem because my Xbox has the same problem. But when I can't turn the volume up on my Xbox remote my Apple TV remote anymore because the HDMI connection that does that is not working. But it works with my cable box still, just not my not my Apple TV. So there's something weird going on.
How old's your TV?
I bought it in probably like 2018. So it's
oh my god, that's so old. You got
4 or 5 years ago. So, but I like it. I mean, it's a great TV. It's an LG, and really the problem started when they upgraded my WebOS version.
Oh, you have WebOS. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a WebOS.
Mine's
TV,
a Roku.
And WebOS, I don't know how much you know about WebOS.
Not much.
So it's LG's operating system for their TVs, but it actually started as a Palm Pilot OS. HP WebOS, Palm OS.
Why do I not know this?
And it's on all LG TVs now, and they do updates periodically, and they released a new version, a big version change, and I want to say it was to 6.0, and I was on like 5 point something, and I didn't think my TV was going to get the 6.0 because it's an old TV. I'll admit that, you know, and I'm okay with it having the old version as long as I'm still getting security patches.
Such a sad fucking day we live in.
But
like, is my computer, is my television new enough to get the latest OS update?
Come to find out, my TV was actually able to get it. It took a lot longer, so the new version came out like a year ago, and I just got it like 6 months ago. So it took like 6 months before they released it for the older TV, but I got it. And I was excited because I had the new OS, and ever since then, I've had issues. And I'm like, so is it a bug with the new OS, or is it my TV going out? I don't know.
No, it's probably the iPhone situation where with each update, it
planned
renders
obsolescence.
More and more useless, so you have to buy a new one.
Yeah, well, you know
that's a thing, Andy. I swear to God.
The problem I have is I'm also security conscious, which I know you're not, but I will not use something if I'm not getting security patches. And if I do use
stop advertising that I'm not security conscious, dude, I'm gonna get hacked.
I am security conscious, and I've been hacked, so I don't want to hear it.
That's true.
I had a Russian on my computer, logged in, using it to download torrents and shit.
Did they talk you into downloading a program?
No. They created their own. They created their own user account and were logged in without me knowing. And it wasn't until I tried to get on my computer. And
why didn't we ever talk about this? That sounds.
I think we did back in the day when it happened. But yeah, when I tried to log in, it was like another user's already logged in, and I was like, what? Come to find out, it was because I had opened RDP to the world, and I didn't have two-factor authentication.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because back when we weren't friends, I used to try to hack your fucking server because you had RDP open.
Oh my god. So yeah, I did get hacked, but I've learned, and now I don't have anything open to the public unless it's got two-factor. And if something's not patchable, it goes on a separate VLAN, and it's not on my network. I cannot. I have to have my day-to-day technology secured, at least the best of my knowledge. I know it's not going to be perfect, but I know it'll prevent 75% of the issues, you know? And so, that said, I want my TV to be updated. But if it's going to create bugs and I'm going to have to buy a new TV, then I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot here. And then you got to balance out what's more important.
That's probably part of the plan, right?
Well, I'll just put my TV back on the old OS, and then I'll put it on the VLAN, and I'll be good to go.
Oh my god, talk about secure. My job, I have to do two-factor. I told you I have like it's like 20 hospitals. So each one uses Duo, one uses Microsoft Authentication, one
Yeah.
uses text-based authentication. You know, it's crazy. And then I find out that I can just copy files onto a flash drive on my laptop, or I can just like log into all my work stuff from my. I can basically do my job from my personal desktop.
Wow.
I can just access everything. Like their security is like bullshit.
Yeah, that's pretty common. I mean,
yeah.
I've been to doctors where I've stopped going because of their insecure practices, like unencrypted auto logging in laptops with Windows 7, and they're taking notes in goddamn Notepad, like plain text notes from medical notes. Like
I won't say where I work because I don't want to have another Rich situation where I have to purge everything. But
it's a purge.
Your shit's not secure, people. If internally companies are like treating data insecurity like this, I can't imagine what they're doing.
Well, and I'm sure it's a combination of both, but a lot of it has to do with management and their buy-in to security. If you don't have buy-in from upper management, nothing's going to happen. You could have the most security conscious people on your staff, but if the CEO thinks it's bullshit that he has to pull out his phone every time he logs in, then guess what? You got a hole in your system. So
that is true, and I've had to deal with that in the past.
That's one thing I'm very grateful for in my current job, because I have the full support of leadership. Like, and granted, I'm part of leadership, so I get to expand that narrative like as much as I can.
Well, that's crazy.
But
and it all depends on how you explain to the higher ups how important it is.
Right.
Because if they just see it as a nuisance and they don't really see the impact.
I found and actually one of my mentors always told me that the best way to get buy-in from leadership is to scare them to death.
Exactly.
And it's true. It works. If you get on the internet and just search for, let's say you work at a brush manufacturer, and you go and look for brush manufacturer hacks, like you could find them, and you could just start printing out articles and putting them on their desk. Hey, look what happened. And you just kind of keep scaring them, and then they'll be like, well, how do we prevent this? And you're like, well, you got to put Duo on.
You got to listen to me, bitch.
So, I mean, it sucks that it has to come to that, but that is the fact.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not just CEOs. Even like in the public sector, most people are just like, me, Rich, you need to convince me.
I don't think it's going to happen, honestly.
Oh, really?
No. I've tried. I have really tried. And I know there's stuff that you would be pissed if people got their hands on. I know. You probably got dick pics somewhere.
I've actually been very wary of my dick pic situation. Okay.
All right then. I mean, you're a fairly young single guy. I'm sure you have some, and you'd want to protect them.
Who keeps their dick pics on their phone? I'd be more worried about whoever I sent dick pics to getting mad at me.
Yeah.
And then releasing them. That seems to be what happens.
In some states, it's actually illegal to send an unsolicited dick pic.
Yes, I just heard that.
Yeah.
That's like new law. That's basically like public indecency. It's
yeah.
basically like whipping your dick out. And,
it's basically.
Oh
the
my
same
God!
thing.
Speaking of whipping,
it plays into what we've said our whole lives. The internet is public. Like everything you do online can be seen by somebody else. Everything. Even if it's something that's behind a login, there's employees that can see that shit.
Yet all these companies force you into their bullshit cloud storage by default, and then your shit's everywhere. Like I keep getting alerts because I have an iPhone, so they're like, your cloud storage is full. I'm like, I never agreed to that.
Yeah.
Well, too bad. We've been storing all your shit in the cloud, so you've reached your allocation, and now you got to pay us.
See, I keep mine on at all times, and I do back up all my stuff to the cloud. But when I have something that I specifically don't want in the cloud for that reason, I turn off the cloud sync first, and then I do it, and then I turn it back on when it's deleted. So
Yeah, and so much crap has been backed up that I don't want to back up.
because like my tax forms and shit, I don't want that shit in the cloud. I
like
just don't
screenshots,
trust it.
like I've taken photos of my license for like jobs and shit, and like they're like
The
in
web
my
hosting
down-
company I worked for, they had you send in your license and your passport and all kinds of stuff to verify you were who you said you were, to keep down
Yeah.
on hackers and shit. And I worked on my personal computer. They didn't have work issued desktops, so all of those were unencrypted on my hard drive for years. Like, I worked there for 2.5 years, so 2.5 years I had them just sitting there. Anybody could have gotten it.
Wow.
And
Dude,
that's
I'm looking at our Facebook right now, and it's saying our post engagement in the last 28 days. We've had 244 reactions, comments, shares, and clicks on our
yeah.
post.
We've had a lot of people interacting with our stuff online, and it's been nice. I like it.
Yeah, I've been trying to post crap on our page as
Yeah.
often as possible. I don't do Twitter or anything else.
Yeah, no, I know.
Too busy with my own.
And that's
We got
fine.
90 followers though. We get 90 followers. I feel like we don't have 90 followers because only like 1 or 2 people actually interact with our
On what?
stupid posts.
On Facebook?
Yeah, on
Well,
Facebook.
the problem there is Facebook's the one thing I didn't completely purge 3 years ago. So we have all the followers that we had before on Facebook.
Oh,
All of them.
damn.
And actually, one of
my-
our viewers that pops in here and there actually was a viewer from back then that saw us streaming to Facebook and then came back.
And was like, "Hey, you're
started
back."
watching. Yeah.
God damn it, Rich.
So we got one person from the past that is watching again.
Well, that's good. That's good. You figure these 90
Uh.
people would see our goddamn posts and be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, right, I subscribe."
So you wanna talk about Apple stuff by chance?
I feel like we're at an hour. We should stop.
You
We're
think?
way past an hour, aren't we?
No, not even.
Oh, okay. Rich, let's talk about Apple stuff.
Well, I know how much you love Apple, and so I go out of my way to try to put Apple
I
stuff.
just made a cartoon about how much I love Apple stuff, and hearing you and Andy go on and on about it.
Well, anyway, you know what? Let me play the intro. Hang on.
Oh, this is worthy
What
of
has
a-
Apple innovated lately?
It has to be intuitive.
Isn't it
Beautiful.
great? You can actually hear it now.
That's beautiful.
So the latest innovation by Apple is they are no longer selling notebooks.
You don't say.
They have.
You
just-
mean MacBooks? They're no longer selling MacBooks?
No, they're selling MacBooks, but they're not selling notebook computers anymore.
Wait, no. Now I'm
They've
confused.
rebranded their entire model lineup laptops, like the rest of the industry has always done it. But it took them 30 years to get here.
I'm very confused. So the MacBook,
The MacBook
Is now a laptop?
is now a laptop. It was a notebook before.
that's no, it's always been a MacBook, and every Apple user has been like,
Well, even now, they've gone as far as to when you set up your new computer with Ventura, when it names your
That's the latest
computer,
OS?
so and so's MacBook, it's now going to be so and so's laptop. They're getting rid of the MacBook.
that
from the
is
name.
crazy.
It
'cause
really is.
Forever, it's always been MacBooks versus laptops.
Yep.
I don't have I don't have a filthy, disgusting laptop. I have
So-
a MacBook that
Exactly.
I
It
paid
plays
$2,000
into the whole elitist thing that Apple has, that I'm man enough to admit is a thing. But
for. Really, Rich?
I have a here. I'll pull it up so you can see.
Okay, so
So they have some screenshots on this article I read, so you can see how the website's changed. So they're still model names, MacBook Air, Pro, but it's which laptop now instead of which notebook.
Are they not selling laptops well, and they feel like they need to like cater to like the PC market?
I think it might be them trying to backstep a little bit on the elitist bullshit. Like, they're trying to make it more for the average person. And using the names that are industry standard, like laptop, makes sense. But you got a before and after here where they have, you could charge your iPhone with a Mac notebook.
I was just say right there, they're calling it a Mac notebook.
And now down here, it's a Mac laptop. They changed that page.
Oh, old versus new.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Which Mac notebook is right for you is now which laptop is right for you.
Because I've seen situations where, like, jobs have been like, like you got to, this job requires that you have your own laptop, and people are like, I don't have a laptop, I have a MacBook.
Yeah.
Can I use my...
That should be a sure sign that you shouldn't be getting a tech job to start with, but...
Dude, every tech job, there's always those people that insist that they have Apple products.
Yeah.
Even though every computer in the world can do everything that every other computer can do.
Yeah.
So
that's why I've always prided myself in being very device agnostic. Like, I have Macs. I had to talk you into using your
stupid Mac for the podcast. I'm like, you have a Mac. Use it for media stuff, Rich. Use it for the podcast. You idiot.
Yeah. But I have a PC, I have a Mac, I have a Linux computer, I have an old Windows XP and Windows 2000 computer, a Windows 98 computer.
I've been looking at Apple.
But I even have Androids. Like, I actually... my daily driver's an iPhone, and I am a fanboy, if you want to call it that.
Yeah,
but
I think it's a little bit more than that, Rich.
But I also use other products, and it's important for a tech person to be literate in all technology, even if you're not an expert.
Exactly.
You should at least be literate.
I am bilingual when it comes to PCs, Macs, Linux. Although I haven't had a Mac in a while, I was just trying to say that I've been looking. I'm like, okay, so maybe I've been bitching at Rich. Use your Mac for like media-related stuff.
Yeah, which has been a game changer for me completely.
And I've had issues, like I told you, like I'm trying to like edit podcasts, and it's taking like 15 minutes to render like an hour-long audio file. It should not take that long.
And I can do it in
like
just a few minutes. Like,
it take a minute.
Like done. Yeah,
exactly. So I'm like, okay, so so I've been looking at Mac products. I know, Andy, calm yourself. I've been like, because I know Macs have always been good for artists.
And honestly, the
and all that stuff.
M1s and M2s have really taken the Macs to a whole new level. Like,
yeah,
there's very few PCs that can keep up in the benchmarks at this point. There's like 2 or 3 that I've seen that are like high-end gaming computers that could keep up.
Yeah.
But that said,
that's basically what I've been looking at,
them.
high-end gaming computer or Mac.
Yeah.
I like that both. But if I get a gaming computer, then I just won't have the space because I fill it up with games. You know, that laptop I had before would have been perfect for video and audio editing, but I'm like,
all these games on.
I got 2 terabytes of drives that are completely full. So
well, see, that's a problem I have with my iMac too. I didn't buy it with the intention of using it for the podcast. I bought it to have an iMac, and I had an older one that I couldn't upgrade anymore. The OS was out of date, and so I got rid of it and I got a new one. And now that I have it,
the plan,
and I realize how good it is, I want to use it for the pod, which I am now, but I had to get an external hard drive because I only bought a 256 gig hard drive because I wasn't planning to use it for media.
That is crazy that they even sell them that small.
I know.
That's insane.
But it's the frustrating thing for me is that you cannot upgrade the drives or the RAM.
Oh God, yes. Oh my God.
Luckily, I was
Have-
smart enough to get 16 gigs of RAM, but I didn't get a big enough hard drive. So
Oh my God. I remember when I bought. Do you remember? I talked about it on the pod. Remember when I bought the MacBook Air?
yeah,
Like I spent my tax return on it, and I got the. It was the 4 gigabyte of RAM model,
yeah,
and then literally a week later, they're like, "Oh no, 8 gigabytes standard on that."
yeah,
And this was like back in 2015
It was
when
bullshit.
that mattered.
yeah.
I was like so pissed. But I agree. Macs are good, and if you're working in media, special linear media like video editing, audio
Yeah.
editing, I wouldn't say for like graphic design and
No,
like,
because Photoshop is
freehand
pretty much
drawing.
the same.
I can do that on my fucking tablet.
Yeah,
Like I don't need a MacBook for that. But if you're looking for like processing power for, I can't believe I'm like sitting here advocating Mac right now, Rich. Like this
I
is like a
mean,
moment.
crazier things have happened.
This is a moment in drunk tech support history, Rich.
This needs to go down in history.
If you could be funnier, I could make this the intro to the show, but you're too busy diddling on your phone. Or
Diddling
something
on my
I can see.
phone. I am not.
Yeah, I saw that.
diddling.
I saw that.
No diddling going on.
You're diddling
I don't
yourself
diddle.
over there. I'm advocating Macs for media. Okay,
It's important.
video, audio, something else probably. Even older Macs are
Wasn't
are
the,
well more clip.
Wasn't the
equipped.
original Xbox? Weren't they the SDKs made for Mac OS? I feel like I remember that being a thing.
What? I don't know. I do know that if you want to, unless it's changed.
Yeah, they used
you want
a
the-
Power Mac G5.
For the original Xbox.
Yeah. Or and the 360 apparently at first.
Was it Power PC based? What is?
Yeah.
What was the
Power PC.
No
G5.
way.
Yep. So they were
crazy.
developing for a computer running the Windows 2000 kernel, because that's all the Xbox One was. The original Xbox, not the Xbox One. The Xbox original. OG.
OG Xbox.
That's all it was a computer running a stripped down NT kernel.
Exactly. That's why they're like.
But they
you know,
developed
you
all the
put-
games on a Mac.
That's crazy. I did not know that.
Yeah, the developer's kit, well, you could buy it and it ran on a Power PC.
Yeah, the OG Xbox, the controller ports literally USB,
Yep.
which
yep.
was a big part in hacking it because you had to make this controller to USB adapter. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I remember hearing that a long time ago, and I just never really paid much attention to it. But yep,
That's kind of like weird for Microsoft.
a little bit, a little bit. So anyway, back to Apple. They're the rebrand. I don't know what their purpose is. I really don't. I think it's just because they're trying to cater to the average person now, and they're trying to get rid of their elitist aura, whatever you want to call it.
That's very they're
I mean, if you ask the average person
self-flagellating.
on the street, who do you think Apple markets to? They're probably going to say people that have a lot of money, because their shit's known to be expensive.
well in the computer market. They've always been a niche.
See, my argument has always been this: you get what you pay for. Yes, you can get a PC for $500 cheaper, but you're getting what you pay for most times. There's something in that PC that is subpar.
You could also be like me that spent your whole tax return on a $1,200 MacBook Air, and then
I
have
didn't
your
say
kid
Macs are
crush a
flawless.
Lego enclose it with the Lego in it and destroy the screen, and then realize you didn't pay for Apple Care,
Oh,
and then
man.
look up the price of a new screen, and it's literally a quarter of the cost of the original laptop,
Yeah.
and just be like, wow, fuck it. So I would say yes, Macs are definitely for, the higher ups.
They're definitely for people that have more disposable income, because you will need to upgrade it by buying a new one. You can't put more RAM in. You can't put a hard drive in. You can't easily replace the screen.
Yeah.
And if you do replace the screen, you're either going to have to spend the money for a nice Apple one, or you're going to pay for cheaper cost to buy a Chinese knockoff, and then it's not going to be as good. So
Exactly.
you're covered. But you get what you pay for when the initial purchase happens. You know, if you buy
when you say you get
well, you buy. I got a good example. I bought a Lenovo laptop for my wife years ago, and it was $200. Okay, it's a great laptop.
Chromebook.
No, it runs Windows 10 actually, and it's a great laptop. Now, I swapped out the hard drive, which was a movable 5400 RPM hard drive. I swapped it out for an SSD.
You could have played that Janet Jackson song.
I could have. And then I put more RAM in it.
Yep.
And after I did that, it's been a beast. It's great. But I had to buy more stuff to make it work. Where I could have just bought
You
her
can't
an
do that with the Mac.
I could have bought her
If
an
you get the
890
Mac, you're stuck with the settings you.
But if I bought her the cheapest Mac, I could have bought her a fucking Mac Mini for $500, and it would have worked just as long, and I wouldn't have had to buy anything extra. So that's where it's not always an elitist thing. Sometimes you're getting what you pay for. If you want to cheap out and get a cheap computer, there's going to be compromises you make. And that's with anything. You buy a cheap car, you're going to make compromises. You might not have push button start, you know?
What is push button start, Rich? I've never.
Oh, you don't
never
have
come
that?
across this. No.
So my car,
I have a 2006 Cobalt.
I just push a button and my car turns on, and I just start driving. Key just has to be in my pocket.
That's stupid.
It's awesome.
That's not American, Rich.
It's not an American car.
Back in the day, we felt the key. Oh, it's not an American car.
I don't buy American cars, but even that, American cars have the push button now too. So it's like a thing. Even Drake.
What are we gonna do?
Drake sings about it. He doesn't drive anything. He has to put a key in.
He also sang about the green bubble. Remember?
Uh-huh.
The text bubble.
Oh yeah. There's been a few songs about that actually.
No, but Apple's suing Google over that. I
Yes.
just saw something about that.
Yes, but Google finally caved. They've been talking shit for like a year or two, and they finally caved and integrated some of the features. So now, if I send a laugh reaction,
Yeah.
it won't send them a text message that says, "Hey, Rich laughed at this."
It'll send the emoji.
Mm-hmm.
That's stupid. I just read that today. I was like, what?
Yeah.
That's a thing?
Google
That
can
is
complain
what-
all they want, but at the end of the day, you got to do what makes the customer happy. And what's going to make the customer happy is easy to use products that just work with
shit.
everyone else's products. Apple learned that the hard way.
Oh, Google has to do that? Are you
Apple learned that the hard way back in the day. Remember, you could have put a PC disc in a fucking Mac for years, and they finally dropped that because
like a
people wanted
FAT
to be
or
able.
NFT formatted disc?
Yeah, because it couldn't read anything except the Apple
Yeah,
format.
I remember
HFS.
that. Oh my god, what was that app? I used to have to use a special app on
Oh,
my tech computers.
Mac Drive.
Yep, Mac Drive. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody read anybody else's.
And you
data.
still
Mac's
can't read an Apple disc on a PC. You still need Mac Drive. But Apple figured out what they needed to do, though, at least. But for those of you who need to go back and forth, exFAT works on both Windows and Mac.
Really?
Yep. And it
That's
supports
like a
large
removable
files.
storage format, though, right?
It's
So, like,
primarily
it's
used for
kinda
like external
universal.
drives, but yeah. But it works for everything. It works on Linux,
Hmm.
works on Mac, works on PC. So just format your external drives, exFAT, and it'll work everywhere.
I've been out of the Mac world for a while now.
Yeah.
I think the last Mac I had was in 2018, and I just immediately turned around and sold it because I didn't even care.
You know what's
And
weird?
I kind of wish I had it right now, but whatever.
You know what's weird is I actually am equally using Mac and PC now during the
Yeah.
day. Like, I have just as much time that I spend on my Mac as I do on my PCs because I use PCs at work, and I use the PC as my main computer. and then I have my Mac and my MacBook, and I use them all about equally, especially now that I'm potting on the Mac. But you know what I haven't used in a while is Linux as a desktop.
Is this a segue?
Sort of.
Oh.
But I'm adding to it as though. So I have used a lot of Linux lately, but it's been in the server capacity at work, so it's all CLI. There's no graphics whatsoever. So I forgot how to use Linux desktops, like
I thought it was to say
like the actual
CLI.
GUI. Like I can go in and I can run the commands I need to run. I mean, in fact, my I don't know if I've shown you yet, but I have a dashboard running on Debian up here that shows the time and my calendar events and the weather and
nice.
news ticker and all that. And it's just on an old monitor I have above me, and it's actually coming really handy, actually, because I can just take a glance.
I love command line based apps.
Yeah.
I actually have a folder in my my Chrome here, not Chrome, my Firefox.
Yeah.
On how to operate Linux nowadays using solely command line.
Yeah.
No
and it
GUI.
still can be done, which can't.
It tells you
be
how to
said-
use mail clients and crap, and it's awesome because you feel like total hacker while you're doing it. You're like,
Windows has been pretty good about pushing towards PowerShell usage. They got really big into forcing people
Love
to learn.
PowerShell.
They forced everyone to learn when you did the 2016 MCSE or MCSA. You had to learn PowerShell. That was the hardest thing for me to do because I never learned it up till that point when I started doing my tests. And then now I use PowerShell a lot, like a lot, way more than I ever have. And so I feel like Windows has done a pretty good job there, although they have kind of cut back a little bit. It's not as forced down our throats, but it's still very functional and still can do pretty much anything on your PC.
I love PowerShell.
Linux is the same way. You can run bash commands all day. But Mac is getting away from it. You used to be able to just run the basic Linux commands in Mac OS and it would work fine. Now they're locking things down. Like some stuff you can't even get to unless you boot into recovery mode because they have system protection set up on the new OS. So you can't edit certain things.
In Windows?
No, in Mac OS. So you have to reboot to recovery mode just to make changes. And it's frustrating, but I get the security aspect of it, but it's frustrating. I should be able to do that in the OS. But
yeah.
Anyway, but while we're talking about
that's the
Linux,
next thing that the main OS is locked down to idiot-proof it.
yeah, and that's true. They are catering to it just works customer. So, but we were talking about Linux, and you actually mentioned the hard drive thing where you could actually physically damage a hard drive with the Janet Jackson song.
Yeah.
I found another article yesterday where, excuse me, you actually could permanently damage your screen on a laptop, certain laptop screens,
What?
if you use kernel 5.19.12. So that if you
That's
have
very
that,
specific, Rich.
you need to upgrade. Basically, there was a power sequence bug that would flicker the built-in display in such a way that it would burn it out. Physically damaging. So this is the second bug we've seen recently on PCs or computers in general that can physically damage the computer, which
What version?
5.19.12. So their recommendation is to immediately revert back or upgrade to the latest if there's a new one available.
Yeah.
But if there's not, you want to back up.
Multiple distributions can use the same kernel.
Yeah, and because the kernel is just the Linux kernel and everything's built on that. So
Yeah.
but the next day after this came out, .13 was released that patched that issue. But it's amazing that this is the second time in the last couple of months that we've seen something that has caused physical damage to a computer.
Oh my god, I'm watching a video of it
Oh, really?
Of the flashing. Yeah, somebody's running at the show that what it does.
Oh, let me here. I'm gonna pull it up.
No one using laptops with it's specific
There it is.
to specific to Intel GPUs.
Oh,
Anyone running an Intel GPU.
that was pretty crazy. It's like a.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm watching.
I wonder if it makes noise too.
I bet you it pops.
Yeah, that would scare me.
So it's specific to the Intel chipset.
Interesting.
Interesting. That's weird. We've had like a couple different things recently where digital things can cause
Physical damage, which
damage.
back in the day, I remember like that was very, very unheard of. Like, I think the only time we ever really heard about a big issue like that was the whole Stuxnet thing, where they spun up the centrifuges too fast so they would break.
What?
The Iran thing, where they, we never admitted it, but we were pretty sure the U.S. hacked them and installed this virus for their nuclear plant centrifuges. You don't know about this story? How do you not know about this story? This is like
I'm on the wiki right now. I've never heard of this.
Stuxnet. Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it literally, it did cause damage. It actually worked, but it did it by just attacking the system that controls the speed of their centrifuges.
Yeah.
And they would just
It would
spin
just
it up
spin
too
'em.
fast, and it would just break.
Yeah.
But other than that, we've never really seen a
Introduced
widespread.
to the target via a USB flash drive.
Yep. Yeah, the
Most
good old
prob-
just drop them all over randomly in the parking lot until someone
Yeah,
picks it up.
someone's
and plugs
gonna
it in.
plug it in occasionally.
Always. I mean, you don't even have to be in the building. You could throw them over the fence into a parking lot, and somebody will pick it up and put it in their computer.
Oh my god! Have you watched Mr. Robot?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
they
great
do that,
show.
Mr. Robot.
There was another Linux thing that caught my eye. Actually, 2 weeks ago, I had it on the last show, but I didn't get to it. But apparently, there's a 20-year-old Linux workaround that was done. That it was done with the Athlon CPU.
Oh my god, the AMD Athlon.
Yeah, like that's how old this is. I mean, it's literally 20 years old. They did a workaround because they didn't properly sleep. That was the whole issue. And that workaround, that patch, is still in the Linux kernel, and it's still causing performance issues with modern AMD chips. Even though we don't use the Athlon chips anymore, the patch is still in place.
So it was a problem with Linux or with AMD?
The Linux kernel is the problem because, I mean, it's not defined problem. I mean, it became a problem, but it was a fix back in the day. Now it's a problem. But, the Linux kernel, I mean, it's version 5.19 whatever, but, Linux has been around for years and has worked on a huge range of hardware, like way more than your average PC. Windows was developed for x86, and they have some ARM offshoots, and that's about it. But
I used to
Linux
have
works
Athlon.
on
I used to have
everything.
Athlon XP
Me too.
CPU.
But I mean, Linux literally runs like some of the devices you wouldn't even realize, like refrigerators now, and set-top boxes and dishwashers. Linux is running on all of these things, so it can be used on anything, just about. So to have a bug like this is kind of mind-blowing, but at the same time, when you're writing a kernel that works on so many different things, I could see how it could get lost in the ether.
Shuffle.
Yeah, but it's crazy because it's actually causing a performance hit on modern AMD chips. It's
Yeah,
the
that's weird
Zen
that they
based
have
chips.
not patched against that.
Well, I'm
or
sure with all
whatever.
the advertising that just happened, they're probably going to fix it if they haven't already.
Well, no shit.
Let's see. Intel systems avoided the AMD issue because they use an M-weight based system for the last decade. so it wouldn't affect remotely modern Intel systems, but so it only affects AMD, like exclusively. So anyway, very interesting,
Fascinating, Rich.
fascinating. 20-year bug.
It's like what was that?
20-year bug that used to be a fucking fix. That's the weird thing.
What was that thing that happened like 4 years ago with the Intel processors?
Oh, where they oh man, I don't remember the details of that one, but
We talked about it.
I remember that
recently.
it took like BIOS patches, and it was literally just workarounds because there wasn't a real fix for it. But the
Yeah.
fix really, the patch caused a performance hit, like a really big one. So people were pissed.
Well, no, it was able to like forcefully inject code based on like the CPU's like weight process or something like that. What the hell was it? Literally, Andy said something about it. Like when I mentioned it.
Yeah.
Last. It was a thing.
Yeah,
And
no, it was a big
I remember
deal.
back then I had to like manually patch a ton of like desktops because
Yeah.
of it.
No, it was very widespread because it affected like every Intel chip at the time.
Any
I think,
Intel
like,
made like back
for
to the
years.
90s,
Yeah.
but it was like it was crazy.
Yep.
I love
I
stuff
don't remember
like
the
that.
details of it, but I do remember what you're talking about. But anyway, it's crazy how things have changed over the years, but they still, like, things come back and bite us in the ass that we don't even think about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the difference between things that we were aware of that nobody took care of, and then somebody finding some like 0-day exploit that has existed for like over decades. You know.
Right. And that's, I mean, computers have been around for decades now. I mean, it's not new. We're running the same software we used to run 20 years ago. They're just faster, easier to use, and
Better access to the web.
Yeah, better access to the internet. But anyway, and I only had one other thing I really wanted to talk about, and that was it was just a cool statistic. But
Y'all.
you know how back in the day you used to be able to search Google, and when I say back in the day, I mean like just in the last 5-10 years, you could search Google and get like
That's back in the day now.
a list of torrents, like, and you could just find torrents. Well,
I never trusted any torrents that were found through Google. I've always trusted
Well,
Pirate Bay.
they used
Or-
to index things like the Pirate Bay back in the day.
Yeah.
like a long time.
No, I
ago.
know. Yeah, you could search for something torrent.
But in the
and-
last 10 years, they've stopped. They've cranked down on allowing that into their search results. And the actual number of links that they've removed because of reports from copyright holders was 6 billion links that they've removed from their fucking search engine.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is crazy to think there's 6 billion links to illegal software that would show up. But then it got me thinking, okay, so...
I'm guessing not just software. I'm guessing like movies, MP3s.
oh, yeah.
Anything.
But it got me thinking about Google in general. I mean, Google started as a search engine. And the search engine that we grew up with was very different than what I think we're getting today. The search engine we're getting today is built with... The results are filtered,
It is kowtowed,
and
I believe is the word.
things
It
are
is
pushed to the top based on monetary payments.
ads.
There's ads. There's all kinds of bullshit. Whereas when first search engines first came out, it was a true index of the internet.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking about this. Okay, so Google's tailored internet searches that they now ram down our throats. I mean, they're all the same now. They either use Google or they use Google's algorithm.
Right.
Not their algorithm, but their methods of producing the content. So we're getting filtered results. We're not getting the whole internet. So did Google indirectly create the dark web? Like, I mean, if you think about it, the dark web would not exist if it was a true index of everything on the internet.
Yeah, that's true. No, I agree. Google, I've done searches for things that are shady, and like, I'm like, this isn't the real results. This is some
No.
filtered bullshit.
Exactly.
Like if you were, let's say, you were to search like suicide attempts. Not that I've done that, ladies and gentlemen. The person
Right.
who's threatened to kill himself millions of times.
on the show.
99% of the search results are call this helpline.
Yeah.
Please call this helpline.
Yeah, they're definitely filtering that and trying to
Yeah, or say
save
with
people, which-
drugs or some other illegal thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're filtering. I can tell you, definitely they are doing that. And is
it's
that
frustrating.
that's I mean, what happened to the free web, man?
It doesn't exist anymore. That's why you've got things like Freenet and Tor and all these other systems that are trying to develop a truly free internet, but they have their own issues.
Yeah, I understand if it's like,
We need to take a quick break. I'll be right back.
are we not done?
Just real quick.
Okay, I'm gonna go make a drink because this episode's like 2 hours long, isn't it? It's got to be. We've been here way too long. It is way too late. I don't have time for this. He's still gone.
All right, I'm back. So,
Wow. I've been here the whole time, Rich. Where
I know.
were you? I wasn't. I had to go get some ice for my alcohol. So
Nice.
I took the opportunity.
Yeah, I had to break the seal, so
Oh, I gotta pee. I've been holding my pee this whole time, Rich.
yeah,
What
me
do you
too. And I just
Got
got to
the
a point where
bladder of a little girl.
I got to the
something?
point where I just couldn't do it anymore, and I was like, all right, I gotta go.
Bursting. What was I saying? Oh yeah, about Google filtering results. I don't think it's cool. And I definitely remember the web way back in the day, where it's really hard to talk about this without being like, yes,
Yeah.
I was looking up information about drugs on the internet.
Well, I mean, when you're,
Some-
I mean, let's be honest. Every teenager has searched for something questionable on the internet. We searched for the weirdest shit when we were growing up, because
I
the
think
internet
it
was new to us, and we could. It was this endless supply of information. Like,
Yeah. And yeah, for them to tell us what is okay to search for is not cool.
right. I mean, it's literally like we complain, or people get all like offended, like, oh my god, China is filtering the internet for people. So are we.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Like,
it's the level of filtering that is pissing people off, I guess, not the fact that they're filtering.
I mean, would Bing fare any better?
No.
Would is Yahoo still a thing?
Yeah. I don't know if they have a search engine, but they still
Who
exist.
the hell uses Yahoo?
Mm.
Yeah, I agree,
Let's see,
but
can
I
you
still
use
I don't feel the need to like turn to the dark web to look up weird stuff. We all look up weird stuff.
Yeah, you can do a Yahoo search.
All of us.
It is surprisingly similar to Google. Like the results.
What about
Oh,
your,
look!
your butt?
Look at this. You're going to love this. You're going to love this. So I searched for weird shit. Or weird stuff. That's all I searched for. That looks like Google, right?
Yeah.
Look at the bottom.
Weird. Wait,
Oh,
I can't
whoa,
read.
Wait a minute. Sorry. I'm trying to expand it for you. Okay. Ready? Going to the bottom.
Weird.
There it is.
stuff, New. Weird stuff. Pictures. Daniel. What am I
Nope,
looking?
all
for?
the way at the bottom right.
Weird stuff. Pictures.
No, down here. Oh, you can't see it. It
No,
went off,
I can't
It went off
see
the
what
screen.
you're-
There you go.
Powered by Bing? Yahoo's powered by Bing?
Yep. So they're not even their own search engine anymore.
Did Microsoft buy Yahoo?
No,
on, Rich, is that
no.
right?
I remember Verizon bought Yahoo, but I don't know if they've
Oh,
sold
that-
it.
Yeah, I don't keep up with that.
I don't
The-
either, because who uses Yahoo? honestly?
Agar.io.
Like, honestly, when I get like resumes from people and they're like, John Smith at yahoo.com, I'm like, well, this guy's not a tech guy. that's
my
me.
address is my name at Hotmail.
I'm judging people harshly, and I admit it, and I'm not going to stop because any tech that uses Yahoo is not.
Is
good
Gmail
tech.
the only acceptable
I,
email address?
I even question Gmail sometimes.
Like, what do you gotta have? You gotta own your own domain.
If somebody owns
My
their own
name's
domain,
Jay at
they're
J.com.
definitely at least technical. They have some technical know-how. We can at
Wait,
least
we
guarantee
own
that.
Drunk Tech Sport, so I can be Jay at drunktechsport.com, right?
Yes, you could.
What? That's gonna be my email now.
And you can even funnel it to Gmail and just set it up as a forwarding address, so you don't even have to have it as your public address.
Yeah.
You can just
Maybe,
use Jay at
Get an
drunktechsport.com.
alias.
Yeah.
I've had Gmail since 2003, back when it was invite only.
Yeah, you had it before me because I paid for email until 2009.
I
no.
remember that. I'm like,
2008.
why are you paying for email, bro? You can have a Hotmail.
Yeah.
I didn't have that kind of email throughput where I needed to pay for it. But I still use the same Gmail because it's my first and last name, and it's they can separate all the bullshit.
They're not very good at it anymore. I actually was complaining about this literally last night.
Really,
So
I can see
I was
they
sick.
do a good job of separating like your social media updates.
Oh
from,
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah. You're talking about the
companies.
categories, like the tabs that you can go to now. right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. You're right.
I still
you're
get
right.
I still get bullcrap spam and.
So
and,
I
like,
never
I'm
did.
trying-
I was really good at every year or so. I would go in and I would unsubscribe to everything, and I would really keep up on.
Yeah,
it.
I do that too.
But I haven't done it in like 5 or 6 years. And the other day I woke up and I was sick, so I didn't wake up until like 1 in the afternoon. And I looked at my phone and I had 173 emails. And I am psychotic about badges on my phone. If
Through Gmail?
if there's a badge on my phone on any icon, I will lose my shit. I have to get rid of it.
You would hate to look at my phone because it's
cannot-
like every app is just like
My kids
173.
have like 15,000 unread emails, and I'm like, how is that okay? It drives me nuts.
What email? What email are you?
I'm the same Gmail I've used since 2008.
Gmail.
Yeah.
You're just using the basic Gmail app,
Yeah. No, not the Gmail app. I'm using the Apple app, but
the mail client.
but I use the Gmail app on my work phone, and it's the same problem. It's the spam problem.
Any Microsoft or even Apple, I've set up Gmail through. It doesn't filter the bullshit, and I just when I check my email,
Yeah, because you can't see the tabs. and shit.
everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
See, I like
And
that.
it-
I don't use the tabs, honestly. I don't. I very
Oh,
rarely.
I live by the tabs. I can't.
I very rarely go to the web and look at my email. It's usually
I've
only like
tried.
if I'm like, oh crap, I gotta look up this email that I got, and then I'll pull up a
Yeah.
tab and do it. Otherwise, I'm
I-
checking my email on my phone. So
I've
when I have
always been
170 emails,
big on using like Outlook.
Yeah.
Or the mail client. You know, it felt more professional. Or
yeah,
whatever.
until what was it, iOS 12 or 13, when that came out, they hosed the mail app so that like Gmail didn't work like at all, and then there was another release that they did where my Exchange email at work stopped working on the actual Apple client. And they finally got their shit together, but it took a few OS versions before it was starting to work again. And I still cannot believe that in this day and age, Google will not allow Apple users to have push. Push is
Push notifications?
Push is a standard function nowadays.
Bro, they were doing push back in like 2000.
Yeah.
Like
Google,
early 2000.
Google
like,
Mail does not allow push. You have to do the setting that checks your mail every 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever, because they don't push. You will not get notified if you don't
like IMAP or SMTP.
I mean, you could turn that stuff on, but I don't turn any of that on. I just keep it with the native client.
I don't even bother. I just use the app.
Well,
I mean, it's just as good.
honestly, the app is that's why my work phone has the Gmail app, because I can't rely on the built-in client for the iOS.
Yeah.
My personal email doesn't matter. I'm not like waiting for emails on my personal email. I check it once or twice a day. I get rid of the crap and I'm done. But my work email, if I'm working, I need to get my emails. So I use the actual Gmail client because I get it immediately.
Exactly. That's what I.
Which
that's
is
what
how
I
it
do.
should be.
Even though I've grown up using SMTP.
Yeah, me too. And I actually used
IMAP.
I used Thunderbird until probably
Pop 3. You still use Pop 3?
I had Pop 3 turned on and IMAP, and I used it until probably a decade ago, and I stopped installing Thunderbird finally.
Dude, did I tell you? My Pocket PC. I got a Pocket PC.
Mm-hmm.
That's I don't know what version of Windows. Way back.
CE.
Yes, it's like Windows CE 2003 or 2000. One of those versions. Anyway, I got Gmail to synchronize with it.
Really?
Okay, first of all, I had to go to Goodwill and find a wireless B router that only had WEP, because I can't set that up on my
Right.
So I plugged that in, and I was able to connect, and you can use the Outlook client on the Pocket PC, but you actually have to go into your Gmail and change the setting.
Turn on IMAP.
To, like, No, because that's already turned on, because I've used that before.
Oh.
You have to turn on this thing that allows unsecured sources
Oh,
to
yeah.
totally not
Yeah.
secure and not cool.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much you've done with old computer OSs, but that's a big problem I have with my 98 machine is I can't get on the web. There's no browser that supports modern internet.
Oh yeah, that was the same with my 98 machine that I built. There's no real there's some text-based browsers.
Yeah, there
that can
was
convert
was a program. I want to say it was based on Mozilla. It was it Kmelon or something. But
I don't remember the one I used, but with web
Kmelion. It's an open source web
Chameleon.
browser.
Yeah.
But it was made. They had a version for old PCs. Like you could install it on Windows 98 and use it, and it worked for a while. But then even that started not working right. So
You figure with the retro crowd and shit, like somebody be developing some sort of browser. I know with the new web with the HTML5 and shit, it's like become pretty much useless
yeah,
to use the web. But like I'm following these people that are like there's people manually like developing and producing VRAM chips for old Macs.
yes, I've seen
That don't
those.
have them and shit. Like somebody's got to be out there working
Well,
on a browser.
one thing that I've seen people do that I thought was interesting and I thought I'd look into was setting up like a squid proxy that would convert the internet. So
Yeah.
it would kind of dumb it down. But I mean, you're
Exactly.
literally taking you'd have to intercept every SSL connection and then convert it to normal HTTP and then send it over.
Right.
Like it's a lot
Wasn't
of work.
there? I don't know. Didn't we talk about this? It was a guy that had a the Mac we have, the SE Mac,
Yeah.
the one you got right there.
That one.
Yeah, and he managed to get that onto the current
Yes.
web.
Yes,
And
it was a
like
YouTube video or
adapter,
something.
Plugged into an adapter, plugged into an adapter, plugged into a Raspberry Pi,
Yeah.
and he was able to kind of browse the web. And then there's always those websites that act as like a portal.
Yes.
You can access the website as plain HTML, and it was somehow use HTML to show you.
It's probably something similar to the proxy setup where you're intercepting
Yeah.
everything. I mean, you're literally stripping the SSL and all the protection on the page.
all the crap out. Yeah.
And a lot of things aren't going to work if you do that, but it's a possibility. It's something you could do. But
Yeah.
anyway,
I'm interested.
yeah, me too. So, well, you had some metaverse
How long
stuff.
have we been recording, Rich?
Hour and 20, hour and 30.
That's
But-
it?
Yeah, but you wanted to talk about metaverse stuff. And I would like to preface this with, if you haven't seen it yet, go watch Jay's video. It's hilarious. But he made a video about the metaverse, and was that a live video of Zuckerberg, or was it actually an avatar? Because I couldn't tell.
No.
Because he's so
He-
robotic.
He put this out. This was, I think I said in the video, this came out in like 2020.
Yeah.
Or 2021.
2021.
And if you've been listening to our show, I've been like, what the fuck is the metaverse?
Yeah.
I keep hearing about it. There's been no real explanation. So I started searching. I'm like, metaverse as explained by Meta, Facebook, blah, 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 whatever.
It literally
And-
cannot exist without wearables. It cannot exist.
But they talk about it like it doesn't, and then in their
And then and then you watch
in the demos they don't show anyone wearing
anything.
anything. They're just like, this is how we think it should be. We put in what, $10 billion.
Yeah, and I'm not buying the whole, it's an immersive experience. You feel like you're really there, because I don't. Every VR I've ever done, whether it be a professional one or my own shitty cheap one, you get the visuals, you get the audio, but you still have that
Exactly.
thing clamped on your face, and you don't get smells. You don't get
Smells.
vibrations.
Although some people are working on that.
yeah,
There is smell.
we've been
smell
asking
technologies.
for smell-o-vision for like 50 years now.
Dude, I want to smell. All right.
I mean,
wanna
that's
smell-
the thing. Like, if you're in a meeting at work, okay, which is the big thing they keep pushing.
I
want to
smell the gross guy. in the
Exactly.
office.
There's always somebody in your office that either has cologne or perfume that's too strong, or has BO, and it's gone. That doesn't exist.
So this
You don't know who to
hypothetical-
avoid.
Yeah, this hypothetical device that's gonna get us into the metaverse is gonna have like smell sensors, so we can smell everyone around. I kept watching this. It was a keynote that Zuckerberg was. Oh my God! Can you show this picture? This is the picture. Oh wait, hold on. Where the hell is it? I'm gonna send it to you on the. What is an AVIF?
It's,
Oh my God! All right, I'm just gonna send you the link to the actual
That works.
page, and then you scroll down, and it goes to Zuckerberg's stupid. His initial showing of the metaverse that everyone was like, "Are you fucking serious?"
Yeah.
With this shitty avatar.
I mean, here's the thing. We have... Really, the metaverse should not exist until we can do
The
implants.
technology's in
Like,
place.
We need to be able to have implants that will trigger smell and feeling and all these...
Which we don't even know how the brain works.
No, we don't. So I don't think we're ready for the metaverse. I think we're 30 years out still before the metaverse could really
Yeah.
exist.
Okay. All right, people. It's not all about smell. Okay. There's a lot more to
No,
it.
I agree. It's not about smell, but it's about like vibration. Like, think about think about blind people. How do they get around the world? Well, a lot of that has to do with their other senses, like their sense of feel, where they could feel vibrations. They could feel like the world around
There's-
them. They
Exactly.
feel the vibration of an engine of a car, or a person stepping through a room. Like,
Anyone that has done VR, and I keep going back to VR chat. If you've experienced or seen any videos, which you should have, of what VR chat is, that is all this is going to be.
yeah, there is
Just-
no practical use for it yet.
And he's like, he keeps. I love it because they keep saying it's about people.
Yeah,
It's about It's about people.
But what he
It's
forgets is people use the internet because we don't like each other.
Yeah, I don't want to.
If we liked people, we would just go to their house.
Right. Exactly.
So what's the metaverse for?
And he keeps saying you're gonna work in VR, and I'm like, what job could you possibly have that you could do in VR, Rich? Could you do your job from the current Oculus setup?
It would annoy
Have
the
you-
shit out of me, but of course I could, because my job is mostly
Okay, but
you know,
I'm thinking
technical.
I'm thinking typing. Like, have you tried to type
Oh
through
no,
your Oculus?
no.
Your finger pecking, because you literally only have like a pointer and a mouse clicker. That's
Yeah.
all it is, and you're basically like, I don't want to text like that. Like, I won't even text on my Xbox.
We were annoyed with having to press a button 3 times to get to a letter on the old T9 input. Like,
Yeah,
we got full keyboards for this reason. That's why BlackBerry took off.
yeah, exactly. That's too
We can't go
much.
back
And-
to this.
And I'm like, okay, so if I was working and I had my actual keyboard in front of me, but I had the stupid thing on my face, I can't type if I'm not looking, because I'm not one of those people.
Yeah.
I'm not a savant at like typing without looking.
Yeah, I was never good at typing. I actually got a C in my typing class because I did it my own way. Like I know where most of the keys are, and I can type for the most part without looking. But sometimes I have to like get my bearings, and I don't use the standard home keys and placement of my fingers and
Right. I know. I always go to the placement because I feel the bumps, and I'm like, that's where I need to be.
right.
And I think I can actually type without looking if I really practiced.
Right.
Because I already know, because I type so much, but I haven't like.
There's not a need for it because you can
Yeah,
look
the
at your
keyboard's
keyboard.
right there.
You can't look at your keyboard in the metaverse.
And I'm like, okay, so you know the Oculus has that, like, you can tap and it'll show you your environment, but it's
Yeah.
like black and white and like distorted. I'm like, I can't really type in that. Okay, so did you get the image of
Oh,
Zuckerberg?
yeah, I did. I pulled it up and then I closed it again.
You son of a bitch.
Oh,
I didn't
no.
realize it was this bad. What the
It's a
hell?
paywall.
Are you serious?
I already opened it once. All right.
Okay, hold on.
That's right. No. I can copy it into another browser.
I'm already on the page. I'm just
I
gonna
got
send
it.
you
I got it.
All right, fine. I'm gonna send you the actual picture just in case.
Oh no, it's still no. It must be by.
Yeah, I'm
IP.
just gonna send you the picture. This was Zuckerberg's. He was like, "Hey
Avatar.
guys, this is what the metaverse could be,"
Yeah, except it's terrible.
and everyone was like, "Jesus Christ, dude, are you serious?"
Yeah.
and,
And then like, I mean, within hours, he went back and was like, "Well, you know, we that was just an
this was,
early
like,
rendition." Yeah.
yeah, early rendition.
Yeah.
So apparently, within the week, he's gonna release a new one.
Oh, he already did, and it looks better.
Oh, is this an old article?
Yeah.
No, it says hours ago.
I swear it was already done.
Mark Zuckerberg rushed into the lab in Pittsburgh, sat before more than 100 high-resolution cameras, and prepared to prove his metaverse critics wrong. There's a photo shoot designed to generate a more realistic avatar in the Meta chief's executive's likeness. It said his company's wasted more than $27 billion in operation losses
There you
over
go.
the past 3 years
Well,
on Meta.
on that article I had pulled up the chart of their earnings, and it's funny because when Apple announced the privacy changes on iOS, it just like
Yeah.
fucking fell off the map. Like,
Yeah.
all of their revenue is from ads. They are literally making money on the data that you are sharing.
And when they said metaverse, it was like
Yeah.
they lost so much money.
Yeah. I don't think I still think we're truly like 30 years out from the metaverse taking off. I mean, and like any new technology, there's early adopters that always fail. There's the
Yeah.
companies that are like way ahead of their time and they end up failing. and then somebody else comes in and does the same thing 10 years later, but the technology's right and it's the right timing.
Right.
It's all about timing.
I think it's both. The technology's not right and the idea is not right.
Yeah. Well,
Like
I think
like-
if you
like
could
he's-
literally like push a button on the side of your temple and your brain implant kicks in, and you can,
Yeah.
that is the technology.
like some
we
Black
need.
Mirror shit.
Exactly. If we don't have that level of technology, the metaverse will fail. That's my.
And the
I'm
fact
saying
the
it,
fact that
and I don't.
they
care.
announced this without even having the technology.
Oh yeah,
'Cause-
in the presentation you watched in your video you made, he was like, "There's stuff that needs to be invented still," and I'm like,
Yeah.
why are you
here's a
releasing it then?
Here's a pre-rendered idea of what it could possibly look like.
Get inventing, guys."
He's like, the APKs are out there, or the
APIs. Or...
APIs are out there, guys.
I'm not buying
it's-
into it. VR is like, and I know you might disagree with me here, but VR is just like 3D to me. It's a gimmick. It's not.
It is. I got my
necessary.
Oculus and I haven't used it in well over a year.
Yeah, I have a knockoff one. It's not even close to an Oculus, but I've used it a few times. I did a Mr. Robot immersive experience thing once. That was
Ooh.
fun. That was fun. But it was short-lived, and then I stopped using it. And I checked out VR porn once.
Oh hell yeah, bro.
Once, and then that was it.
I checked that out like 500
Every day.
times, bro. And then
No.
it turns out it's just like a POV of a porn. You can't
Yeah.
really do anything. You can't interact.
Yeah.
It's like the technology
It's not there.
is not there. It is not there. And okay, so they're describing the metaverse as, everything's a website now. Imagine if it was a thing you had to put goggles on and then go into.
Yeah, no. I ain't gonna put goggles on to get into a website.
That's too much fucking work.
I have a
bro.
hard enough time using my phone. I still, to this day, if I'm doing something that's like labor intensive where I gotta do a lot of typing, fill out forms, I will not use my phone. I will go find a computer.
Yeah, that's the reason we have computers and phones. There's no
I'm not saying the
Wait.
keyboard and mouse is the best interface ever. We've
no
just gotten
unless
used to
we
it.
have a direct matrix connection
Yes.
to the metaverse. It's arduous
Yeah.
and
People aren't gonna
I
do
j-
it.
it can't be. Is it just Zuckerberg that is just like, I'm 100% on board. I want to burn money on this.
You know, if
like,
he wanted to do something to help the metaverse, the best thing he could do would be to drive industry standards. Get the other companies that are doing the inventions that are needed to
Yeah.
agree to standards. Do like an IEEE organization.
I'm still waiting for the Apple Retina 3D goggles.
Well,
Holy shit.
We thought we were going to see it at the event a couple weeks ago, but that didn't happen.
Ah.
But
I'm just like, can you? I have an Oculus, and the graphics aren't that great.
yeah.
And I'm like, can you imagine a Retina display where your eyes cannot tell that you're looking at tiny
That'd be awesome.
screens? That is a first step,
Yeah.
and I don't see Meta pioneering this road. Everything about it is just like, this is gonna fail. This has already failed.
Yep.
You have nothing to show for it.
And I love
You're
how
like,
people
well-
are like
well, we-
showcasing like did you see the Walmart VR shopping experience?
Yeah, I want to go onto my Oculus headset.
Well-
Go virtual shopping.
To be fair, the virtual shopping experience that Walmart did was like 10, 15 years ago, so it was old.
Really?
And technology has changed a lot since then, but they were using that as an example of this is what it could be like, and it was terrible.
I'm like, imagine if it was like Amazon.
I don't
but
like
you
going
had
to
like-
Walmart to begin with, and you want me to do it virtually? No. No. Not happening.
We included VR rednecks and white trash
Yeah. For
in
real.
the experience. You could just go on Amazon and buy shit. You know, and if you want to splurge for Amazon, you can have it the next day. Like, I don't want to go virtual shopping cart pushing it through a fake Walmart. Like, that is the dumbest idea ever, bro.
Yep.
That's like Boomer's idea of VR.
Yep. I agree with you 100%. This is the first time we have agreed on something on this show ever.
First time ever.
This is like a episode of firsts.
Oh my god.
That's going to be the title.
Are your like headphones like jacked up? Because I can hear my voice. It's driving me nuts.
No.
This always happens.
I might have gotten too close because I was like right up on my mic a minute ago.
No, I can.
But I moved
constantly hear
away.
my voice. So I'm like, in the video they showed, like Zuckerberg's like, I'm gonna join my friends. First of all, I don't have any friends. It would just be Rich, and we
Yeah.
definitely have connection problems, and we just give up and not
Yeah.
hang out.
Well, that's the other thing, too.
So-
Broadband isn't even there. Fuck inventing ways to interface with the metaverse. How about an internet connection for everyone
Fiber?
that can work? Because where I lived prior to moving here, we had one option, and they raped you every month for the price for shitty internet that went out all the time. So, until everybody is on board with good quality fiber internet,
Oh, that was the other thing. I'm like,
it will fail.
who has a $399 headset?
Yeah, that's the other thing. There's
Like,
cost roadblocks, there's infrastructure roadblocks, there's the fact that some of the technology hasn't been invented yet. There's UI
does it
issues.
exist?
There's like yeah, it's not.
Am I the only one that's just like,
I don't think you're the only one. I honestly I feel like the only reason we're still hearing about it and it hasn't fallen off the radar is because they control the ads.
yeah, that's true. Well,
They
I had
literally-
to go and I had to go look up at this keynote because I'm like, I'm like, seriously, what is metaverse? How is it gonna work?
And
I watched
obviously,
it-
the stock market is a good indicator of how viable a technology is. Usually,
yeah,
I mean, there's other factors that impact the economy. Obviously, the stocks are going to go up and down based on a whole slew of different things. But the viability of a technology is definitely on the top of the list, and their ad revenue may have taken a big tumble, but you have to agree that at some point in there, metaverse helped drive it down.
and this metaverse, if they ever get it going, they're gonna be like selling your information the entire time
Yes.
to drive.
Oh yeah, and they're going to be
ads
able to see
and
your
all that.
whole surroundings and everything, and they'll
Yeah.
just be like, "Oh wow, this guy's got a iMac over here. Let's send him an iMac ad."
Like, we don't get enough of that as it is.
Right.
Did you see the video I posted where he's like, "Here's your virtual environment," and I'm like,
Yes.
this is the exact environment that the Oculus currently gives you
Yeah.
when you load it." And I'm like, I
the
have
home
no
screen or whatever, home environment, whatever.
Yeah, and you're limited by your physical environment
Yep.
because you can't walk around without walking into a wall. And I'm like, I don't give two fucks about buying a virtual couch or
No.
putting pictures on.
Oh,
them.
that's the other thing. You know they're gonna have fucking microtransactions in this metaverse. And
Oh
they're
yeah,
gonna
you
be
want to buy
selling
this
you-
NFT to put on your wall?
You need an NFT to put on
couch?
your wall, an NFT couch, an NFT refrigerator. Yeah, fuck that.
I
You know, we could be spending billions of dollars putting people on Mars or looking out into the universe.
feeding the homeless.
Feeding the homeless. Ending world
Nope.
hunger. I mean, there's so much that we could be doing with the billions of dollars that Facebook has. And instead they want to develop this bullshit technology that nobody's going to use.
The metaverse, and Facebook is now called Meta, and the Oculus is now called Meta, even though everyone's like, fuck that. No, it's Facebook and it's the Oculus.
Yep.
You like that I wrote
Meta on
my,
your thing. Yeah.
my headset?
Yeah.
All right, if I do another deep dive in the Meta, I will involve you, Rit. I know
Thank
you. Got butthurt.
Well, obviously I have a lot to say about it because I'm very passionate about this.
It was like an idea
Just-
I had. It was a spur of the moment thing, and it was like 2 in the afternoon. You would not have been available.
I was available. I've been sick all week.
All right, you would have been like, I hate the metaverse. Yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
Um,
sure.
Zuckerberg is he's a joke, dude. I don't know why like they don't kick him off. Be like, nobody likes him. He's a fucking joke.
He had
for the
one-
sweet baby race.
One really good product that got him rich. Then he bought a bunch of other stuff that kept him rich. And
I would say
then-
he's no Steve Jobs.
And now he's trying to develop something new, which there's question of whether or not he even developed Facebook because they've said he stole it from those brothers, the twins.
Oh, the
Winklevoss
twins, the
twins, or
twins.
whatever. So there's even question of whether or not he developed Facebook in the first place. So to go out and just waste billions of dollars developing something that will probably
dude, he
fail.
fucking Zuckerberg them.
Literally.
Literally.
Anyway.
Yeah, I've yet to see a single shred of evidence that this is going to be a thing, so I don't know why they're burning money like they are.
Well, I mean, a sure sign that it's not going anywhere is like, okay, they've tried to push the work usage, attending meetings at work in the metaverse. Okay,
I fucking can't stand
I haven't seen
joining
Google
Zoom
Meets.
meeting.
I haven't seen
stand Teams
Zoom.
meetings.
Yeah, none of these
Like-
big video conferencing softwares have started adding VR features. None of them.
Right. The companies would have to provide these devices to the employees so we
Yeah.
could all put our fucking headsets on
Mm-hmm.
and do a meeting.
Yeah,
And
no,
did you see?
no
Did
company
you see the
is
thing
gonna
where
do
he's
that.
like, "Oh, you can have different avatars. You can have a work avatar, you can
Yeah.
have a gaming avatar, and you can have a personal avatar." I'm like, people do that already.
So it's just
It's
one
called
more
their
way for us to
profile.
hide behind our screens and pretend we're someone else. Hello, child predators.
Oh God.
Yeah, I mean, this is the shit that there are reasons that there are protections built into things. Like you can't have a Facebook account that doesn't have a real name in it. Like they actually police that, and it's because people hide behind the internet.
They should require credit cards.
Well, nowadays they could probably get away with it. Back in the day, not everybody had a credit card, so that the early web couldn't build on that because there was a lot of people still stuck in the cash world. But nowadays, my kid has a credit card for fuck's sake. So,
Oh my God, what's wrong with you? You're a terrible parent.
am I?
Yeah. Oh wait. So wait, are you working this weekend, Rich?
Am I working?
Are you busy this weekend?
I have a cushy government job. I don't work on weekends.
Oh well, okay.
I have a homework
Well-
assignment due. That's about it. That'll take.
Oh
up-
yeah, there you go.
It'll take up like
well,
2
I'm
or
like,
3 hours.
we can get together and actually make videos looking into metaverse and try to figure it out.
All right, I'm down.
The thing I made was just a fuck off video. I had
I'm
no
actually-
preparation.
I'm actually going to be up for the next 36 hours straight because I'm.
Oh,
gonna
you're
be
smoking some meat.
Smoking some meat tonight, starting at 3 a.m.
Rich is smoking some meat, guys.
So I'm pulling an all-nighter, staying up all day tomorrow, drinking heavily, and doing it right.
All right, well, we can record some shit then.
Let's record some shit.
Or let's get off of this podcast though, because I'm so sick of listening to my voice reverb back in my head.
All right. Well, thank you for checking us out. If you did, if you didn't, fuck you. And
Yeah.